right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Brett Tippie podcast. I'm here with Finn Iles, Canadian cycling downhill superstar. This is your 2016 World Junior Champion, 2 times World Cup overall junior champ, and your 2019 Canadian Elite Downhill Champion. As well, he won the whole Crankworx overall last year when racing was getting going again in these COVID times, and a Whistler local. I've seen this young man grow up ever since you were racing BC Cups, and now you're like a superstar in the World Cup, and very, very happy to have you here. How are you, man?
Yeah, super good. Thanks for having me on.
Right on. So you were just out training this morning on the road bike?
Yeah, on the road bike. It's been so nice these last few days, so it's hard not to get out on the road bike, and I just got a new one. Specialized sent me one, and I love it. It's so pretty, and it's hard not to say no when it's just sitting in my room, and I'm like, I think I'm going to go road riding today.
Yeah.
And I haven't ridden in Whistler in a long time, so it was nice to get out in the nice weather.
You said it's pretty. What color is it?
It's red and black.
Red. Oh,
it's specialized. Yeah, it is the specialized colors. It's the most specialized bike that I own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Oh, that's cool. I rode for Specialized in 2002, 2003, 2004, and I was the first free rider that they ever hired.
Really? What bike was it back then? Big hit?
It was a big hit, yeah, with the 26-inch front wheel and the 24-inch back wheel.
Man, when I was a kid, I really wanted one of those. And
they were tough. Monocoque design, you know, and they were super tough.
Sick bikes.
The color that I got was like this nice burgundy bike, and I'm like, oh, nice bike. It's like, what is that, crimson? And they're like, no. It's scab red satin.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they love the fancy names, like for the colors. I don't know what it is, whether it's car companies or bike companies. They come out with this colors like, oh, that's red. No, it's actually like royal cherry or something like that. You're like, okay, it looks red.
Well, of course, yeah. Why didn't you say so?
Yeah.
Super funny. So training on the road bike, you're getting ready for the season. I noticed that you've been skiing a lot this winter.
Yeah.
And doing flips and some twists and whatnot. Like, from what I understand, going back in time, you came from Banff as a 10-year-old with your parents. Your dad was a ski instructor, was he not?
No, my dad he was the avalanche forecaster.
Avalanche forecaster?
Yeah, at Lake Louise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I grew up, and my mom is an avid skier as well. Her and my dad used to mountaineer when they were younger and stuff like that. So I grew up, I just basically could ski before I could walk. So I've just been growing up skiing. I ski as much as I bike, basically.
I get it. I'm a diehard snowboarder.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's hard to balance the two, especially when you live in a place like this. You're like, today I'm going to wake up and it's like, I could drive to Vancouver and go ride mountain bikes, or I could stay here and go skiing. And it's hard when there's 40 centimeters up in the
I know. Well, we're like
spoiled.
Western Canadian BC boys, you know, it's hard not to,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So you go to Vancouver, you train on Cypress. I see a lot on Instagram. You're like ripping the trails there, and they're gnarly and tech and available to ride, you know, pretty much most of the winter. Yeah,
Cypress has actually been weird the last few years. It's actually been like quite snowed in, and you can only ride like the super low trails, which aren't that good. So a lot of the downhill stuff that I've been doing for the last couple winters has been on the island. I actually lived in Victoria for 2 winters, just training there and going to school. And then this year was the first year I didn't go back to school because it's all online, and I didn't want to do that. So I stayed here, and lately Cypress just opened up and I've been getting back into it, and I just forgot how insane that place is. It's so sick. The ride, it's incredible, the riding there.
Rooty and rocky and pretty good consistent
super
pitch.
Steep, and there's a few trails that are a little bit more secret that a few of my friends built, and like super fast, big jumps. It's got it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's sick.
You mentioned school. What are you taking in school?
I was trying to get a degree in economics, but I don't really want to go back to school, to be honest. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I found economics quite boring. And if I were to go back, I would probably change my major, and I don't know. I don't think I want to go back, to be honest.
We know what they say about economics. There's 3 kinds of people in the world. Those who are good at math and those who aren't. And there's another 3 kinds of people. Those who can extrapolate from incomplete data and... Yeah, why would you want to be in school when you could be like traveling the world riding bikes?
I know.
This is a time in your life where, you know, you should be charging. You are charging.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's kind of what I came to the realization. Where I was like, this is the time in my life where I can go skiing, I can go sledding, I can go biking, I can do all these things year round, and why not take advantage of that and just make the most of it while I'm racing and competing and have, you know, I'm living here.
Yeah,
So.
totally. I saw that you got a new sled. You got a full Red Bull paint job?
Yeah. I wasn't really a sledder until last year, and my buddy got me into it, and I went 2 days, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. And Red Bull had a sled in Whistler, and I was like, hey, like, is anybody, called them up, I was like, anybody using that? And they're like, no, I think it's just sitting in a garage. I was like, okay, I'm taking it. And I just went and grabbed it, and they haven't asked for it back, so...
Mine.
It's mine. Yeah, it's mine.
It's mine.
Yeah, I'm going to take the wrap off eventually, and I don't know where the sled went.
Yeah.
Somebody lost it up in the mountains.
Stealth mode.
Yeah, stealth mode.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. Have you taken it up to go do some skiing and whatnot too? And
Yeah, a little bit of sled skiing. I really like ski touring. I really like the walking aspect of ski touring. I don't know why. There's something really nice about it. But when you do get the opportunity to sled ski, it's hard to say no because you just get so many laps and...
It's crazy, eh?
Crazy.
If you have a good partner too, then you can shuttle and get the laps, or you can like ghost ride your sled.
Yeah, exactly. It's like biking, but like
your chairlift goes wherever you want.
Yeah, wherever you want it to be. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really experienced that for the first time like last winter, but a couple weeks ago we went up the Rutherford and my buddy was like ghost riding his sled and like pow surfing down to it, and then we built like a road basically to where we wanted to ski down from it, and we did like 6-7 laps in like 3 hours, and it was like you get full runs, and yeah, it's super sick.
And if you were touring, you'd get like 1 or 2.
2 laps, yeah, exactly.
And you have to appreciate every turn, so you end up doing tighter turns than maybe you would if you're just like pounding off where you can just rip them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I know. I'm addicted to the sledding, and you know, I'm a diehard mountain biker and a snowboarder. But, you know, you hard to say no to an engine when you're going to get that much shredding in.
Yeah. Have you ever done pow surfing?
I've done some pow surfing. Actually, I went to the Greg Todd's Memorial in Trout Lake. And I went to the unofficial world championships of snowboarding. And I got third in the beginner class.
That's sick.
They lined like 50 of us up on the top roll. And then it's a race to the road. And I was the third one to the road.
Wow.
And... I should have gone the far left because I had like pillows on the right. On the left, the 2 guys who beat me went straight down in a clean run, and I was like, "Oh, I should watch the train better." But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's super cool.
It's scary though. No bindings though. Like,
yeah, I'm not much of a sideways guy. Everything I do, you go straight. It's like moto, biking, skiing. I'm facing down the hill. The whole being sideways. It's weird to me. I tried snowboarding once, and I like. Could do it on the groomers, and as soon as I got off the groomers, I was just like hooking edges and flipping over, and I struggled.
Yeah, sideways is a different thing.
Different
You're a
vibe.
skier, so
yeah,
symmetricality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny the body dynamics. Like if you see like a nice turn on your bike, you're leaning the bike over, and you've got your weight centered, and your skis, you're angulating at your ankles, your knees, and your hips, and the shots of the actual human look very similar.
It's so close to like the ski form is like the ankles, knees, hips. Upper body down the hill, and on a bike it's like the same thing. It's like when bike body separation, you could line them up beside each other. I mean, it's a bit different on the bike, but you know, it looks quite similar. It's pretty cool. I think a lot of that like turning speed from skiing translated into biking when I was quite young, and I sort of ride a little bit like I ski.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Super cool. Yeah, no, it's body dynamics, right? And mass and traction and just everything is kind of like intertwined, but different.
Yeah,
but yeah, it keeps it interesting.
Definitely.
So you came to Whistler, I believe, when you're 10 years old from Banff, and you know, your parents were skiers, and then you were like, were you riding bikes already? Like obviously, but that's when you started hitting the Whistler Bike Park.
Yeah. So basically, what had happened was my parents were also bikers along with skiing. But we were coming to Whistler every summer and every winter. So we'd come to Whistler in the summer. We came for 1 week 1 year. And then the next year we came for 2 weeks. And then the next year we came for 3 weeks.
Cool
and then
parents.
we came skiing. Yeah, super cool parents. And then 1 year we came in the winter as well. And we're like, parents are like, what do you guys think of Whistler? And we're like, I don't know. We really like it. And then we moved. And yeah, it was crazy. It was just one of those things where it's like, Banff is really beautiful and there's so many things you can do there, but the biking and skiing here is so accessible, and
there's parks in Banff too, right? So you're limited to where you can go.
It's super limited there. So moving to Whistler is like definitely what allowed me to sort of make the steps to where I needed to be for racing in both skiing and biking, but obviously carried on a lot further with biking. Yeah.
So your brother Jack, I remember when you were racing BC Cup, he was racing back then as well.
Yeah.
And how much older is he?
He's 3 years older than I am.
3 years older.
Yeah.
So that was someone to chase right away, and plus all
Yeah.
his friends, I'm sure, as well.
Totally. Yeah, that was really cool. I feel like when I was younger, a lot of my speed and competitiveness came from chasing my brother and his friends around. So when I came into high school, I was in grade 8, and my brother and all his friends were in grade 11. And I was hang out with those guys and like poke them and be like, sort of be that annoying little kid. And then I ended up like started riding with them and skiing with them. So I always had people that were older than me and better than me at these sports to chase and be like, I would talk a lot of shit for a young kid for being like, I don't know, I was like 5 feet tall. I was a really small kid to talk to these guys like that, but some reason they put up with me. And yeah, it was pretty cool to have that type of person to look up to and follow around and be like sort of always somebody to chase after.
Who was he riding with? Like who was some of the posse that you were chasing back then?
It was just a lot of kids from my high school, still people that I go skiing with almost every weekend and ride with almost every week. Just kids that he went to high school with.
Yeah.
There's a few guys that race. I don't know if you know Spencer White, Reese Werner.
Yeah, I know Reese. Reese has got a good career going.
Yeah, Reese
enduro style.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
because he was cross country and then he's gone into enduro, but he's a quick descender too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely taking some big steps this winter because he got a master's degree or he got a bachelor's degree in economics. And now he's first year, he hasn't been at school, so he's training full time, and like you can definitely see it in his riding. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I watched
I'd
POV.
watch out for him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think it was Remy Gauvin was following him at Sun Peaks, and they're doing Smitty steeps, and that one steep section in the middle with a little chicane, he just ripped those turns like
so
gold his
crazy.
brakes. I was like, wow, I thought he was a cross country guy.
Yeah.
Gone. And even Remy was like, whoa.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, that video is so cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That trail's cool.
So now you're this like 5 foot nothing 10-year-old ripping around the Whistler Bike Park, skiing in the winter, bike in the summer, lots of bike park laps.
Yeah.
And your skills, were growing as many young Whistler riders do, getting that many laps in such a cool place. They had the whip off, and this is kind of when you first kind of like put your name out there to the world.
Totally.
Because you were like throwing insane whips, and you were too young to be allowed into the whip off.
Yeah.
And I think the hashtag was LetFinnIn.
Yep, absolutely.
Was that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And people like were like doing like online, not petitions, but
it's close enough to being a petition without it being a petition.
Yeah, pretty much.
Totally.
And they let you in.
Yeah.
At 14.
Yeah.
And so you're up there with like the best riders in the world, best free riders, best downhillers, best gravity mountain bikers in the earth, World Cup guys, Rampage guys, and you beat them all. You won first place.
Yeah.
At 14 years old.
Yeah, that was, I still think to this day, that's like one of the best memories I've ever had. I'm like so thankful for everybody that sort of pushed and pushed and pushed to be able to get me into the event, because without that, my career wouldn't have, I basically just got stepped up. I don't know, say there's like 10 levels to getting into mountain bike racing. I was at like a 4, and then all of a sudden I'm at an 8, and the next year I'm on a factory team a year before I'm racing junior. And I had results in racing and stuff, but I feel like that really put my name out there. The funny thing about the whip off is 2 years earlier, I was 13. That was 14 turning 15 that summer. Okay. I was it was the day before my birthday, so I was 14. But 2 years earlier, I was 12 turning 13, but the whip off was on a different date. So I was 13. I did 2 laps, and they're like, you can't be in it. So I was like, was I in it? My dad has photos of me at 13 I was in the whip off, fully in it. I think it was a lot less official at that point. And then the following year I was injured, and then I was like, I can't wait to do the whip off. I'm so excited. And all year I was riding crabapple with my friends, over and over and over and over again. And it got to the point where I was like, oh, I think I could win. And then they're like, you have to be 18 or older to do the whip off, because they made an official event, and people were like, that doesn't sit right. You could win. And there's a number of people that basically staked their reputation on me and were like, Finn should be in this. It's a joke if he's not. We can't understand why this kid's not doing this. And then eventually I got in. I made a video with Vital, and here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, especially because I raced the A-line. No, I raced the Garbanzo and then raced the A-line. And right before the A-line race, my mom came up to me and she's like, they're gonna let you in. And I was like, they're gonna let me in. And it was like right at the base, and I was like so happy. It was a really cool experience for me.
That's
like
awesome.
Definitely being that young and being able to ride with all those guys. You know, it was like the Coastal Crew boys and R-Dog and
Vanderham.
Vanderham and Bernardo, and it was wild. It was really cool. Danny Hart was there, and
yeah.
it was such a sick experience.
And you're like looking around like, whoa.
Travis Pastrana was there. There's a video, and his I think it's like the Steps to the Top. SRAM made this video, and there's a part where Travis Pastrana is like, I heard about this kid Finn. Like, I came out here to see Finn, and I was like, that's like one of my favorite clips ever. Travis Pastrana like knew who I was when I was 14 years old. It was like the sickest thing I've ever seen.
That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I like this sport. I'm doing this.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually the year I decided to quit ski racing too. So it was like, it all happened so fast. It was like boom, 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 and then next summer I'm in Europe racing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a very rapid
progression.
Progression. There we go.
Now, were you whipping both ways back then?
I whip to the right, but I can whip to the left, but to the right is a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems like when you whip, or back then you were like whipping it out, and then you were like doing this extra little wrist roll, or I don't know what, just an extra little tweak at the end.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I can whip as well as I did back then. I feel like when I was small, I was able to, there was something about it. I could lean more off the lip or something, but I could like get it out sideways and then crank it a bit and then use my weight to push it down, and now I struggle to get them as good as they once were. I don't know, it's frustrating.
Yeah
I feel like I was just doing them so much back then, just over and over and over again, riding crab apple hits, that it was like I didn't even have to think about it. I just came in and was like, this is the best.
Yeah. Now you're focused on going fast and cornering, lefting, turning right, turning left.
All the boring stuff.
Yeah. Whip for show and corner for dough, though, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. So when I first saw you, I was then, I'd seen you around the bike park. You see everyone, when you spend that much time there.
Totally.
And I saw that and I was like, wow. But, I saw you riding a lot of Canada Cup, BC Cups.
Yeah.
Doing the tour, like, Panorama and Kicking Horse and Fernie and
totally.
Sun Peaks and, all the different races and whatnot. And I remember watching practice, and I'd ridden part of the course, and I just went to take some Instagram videos just to help the resort out and give them some love, And then there was a bunch of riders coming down, and then some juniors, and then some elites were training, and then you came down and you took a different line, and it was the outside, but then you just released your brakes and you carved this corner right in front of me, and I was like, oh, what the hell was that? That was really fast, because there was trees on the outside, and you didn't care. You just ripped this turn, and I was like, wow, he's really getting good. And then you went on to start kicking ass on the World Cup, and I was proud of you because you were one of our BC Cup guys, Canada Cup local guys, and then you started winning races, racing Junior World Cup, and there were some really fast young Frenchies and whatnot, and sure. All of a sudden, you weren't just getting on the podium, you were winning races, and then you won the overall, twice, yeah. And then you won the world championship too. Yeah,
that was, those 2 years in junior were pretty surreal.
How many races did you not win during those 2 years?
I don't know. You'd have to ask my dad. My dad has all the stats. There was one race. It was the final race of junior, and he got super drunk at the after party, and he'd tell me, he was like, came up, he'd be like, Finn, and he's like, 14 races, and he'd list all the stats down of what had happened, and he's like, I'm so proud of you. It's just so funny because it was my dad's not normally like that. He's a little bit more reserved, but it was really funny. Those 2 years in junior were pretty crazy, going from BC Cups one year and then racing in Europe the next year is pretty crazy, especially because I'm so used to racing. We drive, 10 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours, whatever, to Fernie, to Kicking Horse, to Panorama, and then it's we fly 9 hours and I'm in a completely different place in France, and I don't speak the language, the food's different, everything's different. Coming over there as a junior is definitely, it's a completely different experience to racing over here, but I think that I was really lucky being able to race in BC and race the BC Cups because the tracks are so good that they do translate over to those European tracks. So it's like you race at Sun Peaks, you race at Panorama. Kicking Horse is my favorite BC Cup racetrack.
It's gnarly.
It's sick, yeah. And then Fernie has a really good one, and you race these, you know, they're all different. One of them's rocky, some of them are really fast, some of them are really like good dirt, but it's steeper, and you get a hold of all these different types of riding. Even Race the Ranch, like you get that, it's only 2 minutes long, but it's so intense and so like physical that you get the best of everything. And then I think that translated quite well to racing over in Europe.
Overall package of skills.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. And I was pretty, like, I'm still on the same team I am now. I've been with them for 6 years. My team manager and my mechanic were really good people for me to sort of look up to and sort of follow their, I don't know what the words would be, sort of follow their guide. Like, they guided me along through junior, and they really helped me out. It was like, the goal for you is to ride 85% to 90%, never push to 100% because you're more likely going to crash. And a lot of juniors ride at 100% and then they crash. So throughout junior, I was riding at 85, 90%, and I just allowed myself to put myself in a position to win a lot of races. But I think the funny thing...
Your 85% was faster than their 85%.
Exactly.
Or they're 100% when they crash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the one race that was kind of like a exception was World Championships in my first year of junior. I really let it hang out in that race. I had some moments, but held on. It was good.
And then won.
Yeah, and won.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then second year I tried it again, and I crashed in Australia, and that was
not good.
No, not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so does that mean you can have rainbow stripes on your jersey from then on if you win them as a junior?
No, so you have to win them as an elite to wear them forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of BC Cup riders, not a bunch, but a few before you. Lauren Rosser won the Junior World Championships.
Yeah, totally.
And Holly Finiak.
Yeah.
And so,
and even Stevie raced.
And Stevie, obviously must have given you some motivation, inspiration to show that someone from a little province in Canada could dominate the world and all the best, Aussies and French and Brits and everybody.
Yeah. That's, I feel like Canada has always been the best at free riding. And that, like, that whole generation of guys like you were riding like free riders. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a free rider. Like, I loved going off huge drops and hucking things and just like...
You knew who the Fro Riders were when you were a little kid?
Yeah. We used to watch all the, like, the end New World Disorders, the Cranked, like all of it. I just loved watching those. And, it's like a Canadian thing to be a free rider. And then I think Stevie was like the first one to really show that a Canadian could be
fast.
Best in the world. The best. Like, there's guys before him that were definitely good riders and fast, but Stevie was the first one to go out, and he smoked everybody that year. In 2013, he like won the overall, and it was like came down to the last race, and he like last one to drop, and he still smoked everybody.
It was him and G right up to
right
the points,
down to the wire. Yeah,
to the last race.
Yeah, it was crazy, and like some of those runs are so classic and like legendary, and I feel like that was like the first guy. And there's a wave of Canadians now, just as there was, after you guys that were free riders. Now it's sort of in racing as well, because Stevie showed that it's possible, and if one person does it, then everybody's like, I can do that. And it's pretty cool. So having that person, like at my very first World Cup, Stevie came up to me. I'm like, oh, like I'm kind of nervous, like I'm worried, like these guys are fast. And he's like, so what? You're better than them. And I was like, what? He's like, don't be an idiot and just ride your bike. And it was what he told me, and I won. And I was like, wow, like first race. And, to have somebody that from Canada that has been a champion just to say that to you, and you're just like, huh.
Yeah, right. I do rip.
Don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
Just ride your bike. I kind of need somebody to tell me that now. Don't be an idiot.
Trust
just ride
yourself.
your bike. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool to have somebody like that to sort of look up to and aspire to be.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's so inspirational for all of us, but more you, because you were in the trenches,
Totally.
battling the world,
Yeah.
Mark Wallace was, on the island with him, and he's had some great stories, in interviews with me on the mic at BC Cups and stuff, saying different words, as Stevie said. And, it is such a big thing to have a legend like that in our history, and miss him a lot. I wonder what he would have, continued to do in his career.
Yeah, he just before he passed, he'd sort of made this comeback. He had
Some
like
injuries.
3 years of injuries. He broke his ankle 3-4 times, and then he sort of like got through it and started making that comeback. He finished second at the first World Cup that season, and then he was like, he got a front flat in Cairns, but Stevie, there's that picture he came across the line, he's wheeling, he's got his hand up, like classic Stevie. And then it was like, it seemed like he was back to where he was before, and he was sort of, he's making that comeback. And then, I don't know, I think if he hadn't passed away, there'd be no doubt he'd be one of the best in the world still.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely no doubt about that. But it's crazy because his legacy carries on, like Mark and Magnus and me, and there's so many different kids that are coming up from Canada right now that are on factory teams, and there's good juniors and kids that are even younger than that. You just see riding, you're like, who is that? I was riding A-Line last year, and this kid came through, and I was like, what did I just see? Like, the kid is so good. And it's just like, there's 5 of them that are able to do that, and you're like, wow, I don't think I was able to do that when I was 11 years old,
Yeah.
So it's cool, and I think that's...
Well, doing what you're doing, you're inspiring the next generation, and they might know who Stevie Smith is, but they didn't watch him weekend out.
Yeah.
They're watching you, and what you're doing is creating positivity and inspiration for these young riders. So that's got to be an amazing feeling, and a further motivation for yourself, as well as just wanting to rock and roll.
Absolutely. And that's part of the what I like about racing is I feel like if I'm able to do sort of what Stevie did and sort of carry on that Canadian legacy in racing and be like, go win a couple World Cups, or like maybe win an overall or World Championships, it just pushes that further. And then maybe we can get more funding through Cycling Canada, and we can get more funding to the grassroots level, and sort of allow kids that are, 13, 14, 15 access to things that I didn't have access to, or definitely wasn't accessible for kids like Stevie or even before him, and it sort of creates that pathway for people to sort of progress a lot faster and get to that top step.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, when you got your Red Bull helmet, which is a big, feather in your cap, and very, very much an honor for the elite in the world, you actually got a graphic custom done with a Stevie Smith and I think a Jordy Lund logo, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. On
your visor or something? Or what did you have put on your helmet?
Yeah, that was last year for World Championships. I feel like National or World Championships is the one time that you get to represent Canada, like you're truly riding for Canada. So I felt like it would be cool to sort of do an ode to those guys and be like 2 Canadian legends, and then like have them on my visor. And I had a big maple leaf, and it sort of did this cool, like, I wish I had it with me. I don't have a photo either, but it's a sick helmet. I just wrote it once and put it on the wall, but it's one of my favorite helmets, and there's just a picture of Jordy and a picture of Stevie on the visor.
Nice.
Yeah, it's sweet.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace to those guys.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure. Those the painter does such a good job too. He's Canadian. He's out in Aldergrove. Painthouse Customs. Kills it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually he started doing my helmets.
Yeah.
And
sick.
my first custom painted helmet, he did, and it was a moon. I had a glow in the dark bike back then.
Sick.
And my frame was glow in the dark, so I had a moon that was glow in the dark, and it had a face in the moon, and it was my face.
I think I remember that helmet.
Yeah, it was crazy, and the rest of it looked like space.
Yeah,
and then there was a little alien and a UFO, and he's like it's like a hot rod UFO, and he's like flying along, so trippy, so cool.
That's sick.
And then I gave some exposure about his little company, and then he's really progressed, and he's killing it.
Yeah, he does such a good job.
I think he does like Brett McDonald's helmets.
Yeah, he does a lot of Red Bull guys. Yeah, and he's got his own shop now too. It's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Wow.
You do a lot of night riding, don't you? With a glow in the dark helmet.
Dude, I love the night riding. I'm a dad, right?
Yeah.
So I get busy, and I'm trying to support my family and trying to pay the bills. So I end up working, riding bikes and promoting different products, and it's everyone thinks it's all fun and games, but it's actually a bunch of work and getting fresh bikes built and getting them shot in time for deadlines and whatnot, as well as announcing and all the different
doing this
stuff like this, and lots of media stuff. So sometimes I'll miss a ride, and I'm an addicted mountain biker. I need to ride. So the sun goes down, and I'm like, that's okay. I'll just go night riding, because these lights I have, the big ones I have are 4,200 lumens.
Oh my god!
On my Tundra, My Tundra is 3,000 lumens. And so I have 4,200 on my helmet and 4,200 on my bars.
Whoa. So you got like a full police spotlight basically. You're
Basically,
like,
I can ride
day.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Like double black diamonds in the rain, in the dark.
Yeah.
And it's just like, doesn't even matter.
Huh. What is that? Where would you ride? Like Seymour or Frome? Or?
I usually ride Seymour. I live at the base of Seymour.
Right.
And so I ride Seymour.
Sick.
Yeah.
I love Seymour.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
You know, I like on the North Shore Mountains, Cypress, you kind of don't really do the bottom because there's houses and the highway and stuff. And you don't really do the top. Well, you can go up to Sagar and all that whatnot. Yeah. But most of the riding's in the middle.
Yeah.
And then on Frome, it's all up at the top mostly. But Seymour goes right from the ocean right to the... right up to the ski hill. So you get the most vertical on Seymour of all the three North Shore Mountains.
Yeah, we do big days on Seymour. And the road is perfect. Like once you like get to the top of Corkscrew and you like hop out onto the road, it's like perfect grade, everything like in the dark side trails or.
Oh yeah, you got Nar. You've got a few jump kind of a few jump trails.
Yeah.
Somewhat some kind of like trail bike, more flow, and it's a good riding. Yeah, I love the night riding. My favorite night riding quote is from Gully. I wish it was mine, but I can't take credit for it. It's, when life hands you lumens, go night riding. He's so good. I was like, oh, I wish I came up with that. Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah, I've never been.
You've never been night riding?
I've always been a little bit afraid of the dark. So I'd have to go with some buddies. Like I don't know if I'd do it by myself. I mean, like maybe I'd go for a short one and get like kind of like skittish on the way up and ride really fast.
Yeah.
But like up until like I don't know, last year I'd be like, I wonder if there's a cougar around here, kind of thing.
Well, it's not just scared of the dark. It's scared of four-legged creatures that are bigger and stronger and faster with teeth and claws.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not so much about the dark. It's just like what's kind of hiding
in the dark.
There, Yeah. It's like, hey, I don't want to die because of a cougar.
Yeah. I actually went up the other day. I noticed you have a Husqvarna dirt bike for training.
Yeah.
I just got a Husqvarna
Sick.
FE 350.
Nice.
So I bought it at 8 p.m. and I'm like, I have to go rip this thing right away. It was pissing rain. So I drove up to Squamish.
Yeah.
And what did I have? I just had my 2200s on my helmet and then the light that's on the bike. And I went riding till 2:30 in the morning solo in the rain, in the mud.
Oh my God. Where'd you go? Lava Flow?
Lava Flow.
Sick. Lava Flow is so good.
So I was doing green circles and blue squares.
Yeah.
Which in that kind of mud was, daunting enough. And I've been dirt bike for 20 years almost.
Totally. Dirt biking is so physical.
Oh my God. My forearms were just like...
Yeah.
I was just trying to hang on at 2:30 a.m. I'm like, I'm done.
You lose control of the clutch and then you're like whiskey throttling everywhere. Oh yeah. It's tough.
Clutch finger. I got the recluse clutch. So it's my clutch finger wasn't so bad. No. But wasn't bad. Then I actually went to bed finally at 5 a.m. and I got up at 8 and then I went sledding and boarding up on Brandywine with 20 centimeters of fresh from all the rain that snowed up there. It was the best day of the year so far.
That is a 24-hour day. That's sick.
Thanks to Red Bull.
Yeah, holy moly. That's sick.
I know.
That's a dope day. I need to go and do that.
I'll take you. Let's go night riding sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you'll love it.
If I'm in Vancouver,
yeah,
definitely.
Okay, for sure. Just wait for me. Because there are scary creatures out there. But hey, we're scary too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on with talking about a little more racing. So you actually, after you won the two, World Cup overall junior championship, like the overalls, and you won the world championships, then you made the move to senior.
Yeah.
And, you were riding 85%. And you had great consistency. And your big competitor, was it Thibaut Deprella? Was he one of your big competitors?
In junior is Matt Walker.
Matt Walker from the state?
No, from...
Or from Britain, or from UK,
Britain,
I mean.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, Thibaut,
he was still coming up.
He's younger than me.
Yeah.
He's fast though.
Yeah, Matt Walker, he did well last year.
Yeah, Matt Walker won the overall last year. Yeah, it pissed me off a little bit, if I'm honest. Yeah. It's funny. It's been like a bit of a rivalry since junior, and then last year he just smoked me, and I was like, and next year I need to come back a little bit stronger than I was this year.
You're like, duly noted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think in junior, maybe I should have taken that extra risk and gone 100% a couple more times than I did. Just because last year was a bit weird, was my third year of seniors, but it was so weird because of COVID. But the previous 2 years, it's like, I have a good result, I crash again. I have a good result, I crash. The consistency isn't there because I'm trying to ride, I'd say a little bit too fast. I'd ride 100%.
95%.
No, 110%. Like I'm trying to go too fast because instead of being like, riding it like I was in junior at 85%. My 85% is slower. Well, I think I'm at the point now where I'm quite similar to those best guys. But when I came in, I knew that I wasn't as fast as those guys, or I thought I wasn't as fast as those guys. So I'd be like, I have to ride 105, 110% to win. And it was like, I'm not like, I'm going to win right away. Like I'm not taking anything else. And I came in and I just tried way too hard. And it probably taken me 2 years to really figure that out. Because it was just like, I would crash, I would get a podium. I'd crash, I'd get a top 10. I'd crash, I'd finish top 15. You know, there's like...
The speed was there.
The speed has always been there. It's just about the consistency and like being able to focus and ride at that. Like, you know, you can't ride 85% in senior and expect to win. You have to ride that 95, 100%. But it's trying to figure out how you're able to ride at that 95, 100% and be consistent and stay focused and like really... like be able to just do it weekend in, weekend out. And it's that you have to train to figure that. I don't know. It's like one of those things you have to figure it out. And I've been working on riding a lot more at home at that pace. So I'll do like 2 days in a row where I'll ride on Prevost or on Cypress. I'll ride at 100%. And I'm like really going for it because I'm trying to emulate what it's like racing. And like, you can't like make a race in practice, you know, like it's, you know, the feelings at a race are so much different, but you can try and like replicate that speed and that focus. And so that's something I've been working on a lot lately.
And get at 99%, not 101.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's one of those things. And it's like, you just have to be smart where you need to be smart and then go 100% where you can go 100% because there's sections where you have to ride 85% to make it work. But if you come into those sections 95%, you're going to blow it and crash. And that's something that I wasn't figuring it out. I would like, I'm going to ride this corner as fast as I can. And you watch Loic or Amari come through there and they brake early. They make a really like smart decision to ride it a little bit slower and carry their speed out. And I'm coming in 100 miles an hour and I blow the turn. And it's like, why did I do that? It's just because I want to win so bad, but I'm just not riding smart enough. Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's better to have that desire to win and go for it than to, you know, go 85 and get like a 10th place, whatever. You're a racer. You don't want 10th place or 8th place.
Not happy with anything, you know, less than a podium. So
you want to win or get a podium.
Well, winning, but I haven't tasted that in a little while on the World Cup circuit. So hopefully soon.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you actually won the Crankworx overall, and if I remember correctly, I think you won 3 enduros.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a funny one.
And then Jesse Melamed won some downhills.
Yeah, he won the kicking horse downhill. Yeah, that was a funny one. I was really ready for Crankworx. I like coming into that. I was like, I want to win. I basically said I think I could win every single event. And
dual slaloms, everything.
Dual slalom was like the one I was like, like I haven't raced BMX since I was like 11. Like I haven't really been at the pump track too much lately.
You guys like
and Bass is so good.
So quick.
He's so fast.
Yeah. But you got a second in dual slalom.
I got 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and a third. But
that's right. Yeah.
Well, no, 2 seconds and a fourth. 2 seconds and a third.
I got a third and a second. But maybe I'm
okay, yeah, second and 2 seconds and a third because I got second the first time, third, and then second again in the third week.
Okay.
Yeah, in the enduros it was funny. I
got like first.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny. I came into the first week there, and Jesse and Remy were talking about this, that, and the other thing, and I looked them in the eye and I said, "All I want to do at Crankworx is win one of these enduros." And I just told them to their faces, and I was like, I don't know why. I just was feeling so competitive. I was like, I haven't raced in so long. I need to like get after it. And then I did the first stage. I went over the bars and I still finished second on the stage. And I was like, it's on. Like, it is so on. And then I won the first one. And then the second one, I like won by a lot more than I did the first one. So I was like, oh.
And you used a smaller bike too. Didn't you use a stumpy?
Yeah, I used a stump jumper. I love that. I feel like a lot of people have done this thing where they go to these huge enduro bikes.
170s,
180s enduro bikes. But if you're that big, you might as well ride a downhill bike. So I like the little, like, it's 5 and 5, but it's really playful. And the 29er really, like, sort of compensates for the smaller suspension that I've noticed. So I don't know. I rode the Stumpy and I was like, this is it. Like, I love this bike. I raced the dual slaloms and I raced the air downhills and I raced the enduros on my stump jumper.
Okay, just set them up a little bit different.
Just a little bit, like suspension wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, and like on the air downhills, it was like locked out fork, locked out shock, 35 psi front and rear.
35?
as heavy as I could go, basically, without losing traction. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. How much do you weigh?
185, 190 pounds, depending.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit lighter this year, 183.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do a little bit less pressure in your front tire than your back?
Yeah. 24, 26 for World Cups.
24, 26. Okay. All right. Inserts?
Yeah, cush core in the back.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the front. For a course like Fort William, I'll use it in the front, but normally just in the back. It helps hold the shape of the tire and then obviously protects it from dents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys never use brand new tires? Do you always like put a run or two on them to soften them, or do you? Because like
brand new.
Brand new.
I normally do like, so I have my mechanic has this whole system where I'll be like, he has like qualifying wheels and then he has race wheels and then he has practice wheels. So I'll do one run before qualifying on my qualifying wheels. I'll do qualifying, and then on race morning I'll do one run on the practice wheels, one run on the race wheels, and then race on the race wheels. So I get like one run, because the bearings, he does this special thing. He puts some special sauce in the bearings, so they roll really quick. So I have to get used to like that extra, there's like an extra speed in there.
it's like putting Sarah F speed formula on your skis.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you don't use it,
it's like
you're kinda
turbo
like,
wax,
Yeah, totally.
So
But you didn't have your mechanic for Crankworx.
no, it was me, but Norco mechanic Darren really helped me out a lot.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it was sweet.
It's nice to have friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Canada we're all friends. We're all nice people.
Yeah.
Nobody's out to get anybody.
Yeah. Well, you were out to get those enduro guys. Sounds like you told to their face. That must have felt good.
I think it was good though, because I feel like Jesse went out after and won the Enduro World Series. He won the overall. I think he won 2 of the stops, and I think it was like, I don't know if they were like 100% into it. I don't think they were at Crankworx. And
Taking all the risks.
Yeah, they weren't like, I'm 100% ready to go. They're not like riding as fast as they possibly could.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to say this, but I was like, I feel like the last week Jesse went a lot faster and did in the previous weeks, maybe because he wasn't in competition, and then he went to Europe and he smoked everybody. I'm sure if he was on form, it would have been a lot tighter at Crankworx.
Yeah. Well, that's his bread and butter is EWS.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
yeah.
It's like you for World Cups, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh. And then like he won the kicking horse one, was it?
The downhill, yeah.
You had a big crash with that, didn't you?
Big crash, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my favorite track, and I was like, I felt so
and you
good.
know it from
I
years
know,
of
yeah,
BC
from
Cup.
so long ago. Like I hadn't been there in 5 years, and I knew the track. I still remembered the track, so I was like, this is sick. Like it's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Like so fast, rock faces, sick turns, and it was the stupidest turn on the entire track. And I actually had my fork in the morning kind of busted. Like something happened to it. Like I don't know what happened. I fixed it that night. Like I called my mechanic and we talked about it. And basically what had happened was like some of the air transferred from the positive into the negative. So then there was like this weird, like instead of my suspension sitting, say this is like 200 mil and it sits like this, it was like, it was riding a little bit high. So it's like the fork was doing like this. It was like banging and it wasn't really getting into the travel. I couldn't explain it to you. I don't know enough about the suspension, but I basically...
Fork not work.
Yeah, fork not work. Exactly. And then I stoved it and I crashed and I was like, that felt weird. Like my bike didn't feel like it normally should. And then I fixed it. And then the next week the bike was working so much better. And it was like just a little fix that I should have just like, it was like routine maintenance that I missed. So it's my fault. But, just live and learn.
You
live and
overall.
learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So training with Loic, you were mentioning before, he kind of had the same thing you did. He didn't have the consistency yet, and he had good speed.
Yeah.
But then he stopped crashing and then started winning a lot.
A lot.
And you train with him and watch and learn, and it's so lucky for you to have that opportunity to be around that. What things have you learned from him that you're putting into your riding?
Yeah, Loic is an interesting teacher because I don't think it's not like he's a teacher. He's not like when I was younger in junior, he would definitely give me a lot of advice and be like this and this and this. And we have like people up on course that like help us with lines and stuff like that. But as soon as I came into elite, Loic was a little bit different. And now we don't really we'll go up the chair together, but we don't really ride together on course or anything like that. I just sort of watch how he does things. He's got like a different way of doing things that doesn't necessarily work for me, but just like watching how he sort of prepares for races. You know, he'll like go for a practice run. He'll come down. He'll immediately talk to his mechanic. He'll write down what he felt. His mechanic will take that and they'll change the bike. And it's like him having this, when he's focusing is really important. Sometimes he'll like, you know, in between practice runs, you know, you goof around a little bit and he does that for sure. But when he needs to be focused, he's really focused. So it's like when he leaves the pit, he goes up to the top. He's in the zone for his practice run. He does his practice run. He comes down to the bottom. He's in the zone for about 5 minutes talking to his mechanic, sorting everything out. And then he like chills out and then he goes back in. And, you know, it's like watching him do these little things that are just slightly different because I like to just goof around a lot. So it's like come down from my run. I'll be like, oh, like this, that, and the other thing. I'll look at my phone and it's like just being able to focus when you're supposed to and being on task when you need to be. And then sort of relaxing and then getting back into it is something that I've sort of been working on a lot over the past few years. Cause I don't know. It's cool being able to just see the things that he does as 4-time world champion now. It's just, you know, you see his habits and you're like, maybe I can incorporate some of those into mine.
That seems to work.
Yeah. It's not like he's explicitly telling me what to do, but you can sort of just watch and
pick it up.
Yeah. Pick it up.
Watch and learn. Watch and learn.
It's like having an older brother. Same thing. You know, you like watch my brother do something. I was like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that works. Yeah. And then sort of bring it into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But now I'm at the point where I sort of have to figure it out for myself. I can't just sort of look at what he's doing and be like, that's the recipe for me. It's like, I think that's the hardest part is like in junior, I was like sort of following a guideline that the team had used for Loic and Loris and then me. And then when you get into elite, the first year's a bit learning, the second year's learning, but that third, fourth, fifth year is where you really need to take the steps to sort of figure it out. And
what works for you.
Exactly. And that's where I think it's the hardest because once you figure out what works for you, then all you have to focus on is the riding. There's nothing else to worry about, but it's finding what works for you and how to make that work at every race.
Do you have any superstitions or lucky underwear?
Lucky underwear and lucky socks.
Lucky underwear, lucky socks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I burned mine last year. I was really mad. They weren't being so lucky.
On your back tire?
No,
you burned them in anger.
Yeah, I didn't want them. I was like, I just don't need these anymore. So I have some new ones for this
after the World Championships.
No, just after the season. I don't know.
They're not so lucky anymore.
Yeah, if I have some bad juju, I'm like, I don't want them anymore. So this coming year, I'll have a new set. And yeah,
I get it.
It's like a playoff beard, you know. You grow it and then you lose, and all right, get rid of it, and next year you come back, and hopefully it works this time.
Yeah. Just like a hockey player. Now you play a lot of hockey, eh?
Yeah, a little bit. I played a lot when I was a kid, like most Canadians do. Yeah. But this winter, I got out, bought myself some new skates, bought myself a stick, and got out. And like the lakes were frozen this year, which was really cool. And normally it doesn't, like in Whistler, you don't get the frozen lake and no snow at the same time. So we got lucky and we had the frozen lakes and no snow. So we had like a week where we were playing pond hockey every day. It was so much fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was sick.
It's good for the ankle strength and leg strength and balance.
It's just so much fun.
And fun too, right?
Love hockey.
Yeah. Did you hear they're trying to get a pro sports team going in Red Deer, Alberta?
No.
But they won't let them because they said Calgary would want one then too. You knew you weren't getting out of here with a few cheesy jokes.
That sucks. That sucks because Flames are my team, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Well, they've won more than the Canucks. So
I was going to say, they do have a cup. And
they do have a cup.
Yeah.
What was that joke? I can't use this joke anymore, but did you hear about that new drink?
No, what is it?
It's called the Ovechkin. It's a white Russian on ice with no cup. But he won the Stanley Cup, so now I can't use that joke anymore. So I guess it's like a white Russian on ice with a new cup?
Could work.
So that could work. It's not as effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny. Wow. So in Whistler here, you've done a lot of training with Strand training in your past?
Yeah, I did when I was a kid. Sort of through my first junior year. And when I was even younger than that, that's where I really got to meet those older guys. Was like we had the after school program with Strand training. And Katrina would bring in, like we'd either ride with Katrina or she'd bring in like Jesse did a couple, Dylan Wolski did a couple, Seb Kemp did a couple, and they would come in and we'd go ride with these people. And Chris Kovarik did a couple, Claire Bouchard. It was really cool. We had this like kind of star-studded group of coaches, and it was like grades 8 through 12. We'd go ride with them, and then I actually started doing gym training and cardio training with Katrina. And then a couple months ago, I actually coached one of her camps with her, and it was pretty cool because I'd come full circle. It was like when I was that age, I was in these camps and I was looking at Jesse Melamed and, Dylan Wolski, and I was like, wow, like that guy is so sick. And now I'm in that position that they were in, and it's pretty cool.
That is super cool. Speaking of full circle, guess who taught Katrina Strand how to mountain bike?
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Way back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Full circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Is your favorite Whistler Trail still microclimate?
Hey Bud microclimate. Yeah. I would say so. There are those two. You can't. I love Dark Crystal, but I really liked it when it was illegal because nobody was riding it, and like I guess I was in grade 11 the first time I rode it, and I came down. I was like that was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I was like couldn't stop smiling. I like was so, and now it's kind of it's kind of clapped out. Everybody goes up and they ride that, and microclimate and Hey Bud. They're blown out, but for some reason they work. They work, and yeah, they're my two favorites, I'd say.
Okay, cool.
I don't know, can't get over it. I feel like I've ridden them so many times. I could just ride it with my eyes closed, and I'm coming down, and I'm like, yes, this is this section. I'll do a double, and I'll like land it, and I start laughing, and like I'll listen to music, and I sing, and it's sick. Yeah.
What 3 trails do you ride the most at the Whistler Bike Park?
A-Line, Dirt Merchant, Original Sin, Canadian Open. That third spot's up for grabs. I feel like last year I rode a lot of Original Sin because it's kind of the best downhill trail.
Yeah.
But A-Line for sure. I love A-Line. Dirt Merchant, and then like maybe Crab Hits, maybe Canadian Open, Detroit Rock City, Upper Whistler Downhill. I don't know. Those. Yeah, one of those. There's like 2 jumps and then the tech, Yeah. You get up and you're like, what should we ride this lap? We should do A-Line. It'd be like, all right, okay, come up for the second lap. What should we ride this? A-Line was pretty good. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll go ride A-Line. Come up again. Okay, we'll change it up. Oh, that was pretty good. Let's go do A-Line again. You do 6 A-Line laps in a day because you can't. It's like, it's...
How do you not?
How do you not? It like works perfectly. You're riding with your buddies. You're in the air at the same time. Everybody's hooting and having a good time. It's so sick. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's go back to racing again. Last year, before you hit, the few World Cup races we're allowed to have because of this whole COVID crazy times.
Yeah.
You started off by hitting a French Cup, and you got second place.
Yeah.
Behind your specialized teammate.
Yeah.
Loic.
Yeah.
And so he didn't get you by much, eh?
No, it was pretty tight. I can't remember what the gap was. Maybe a second or less. I don't know. That was cool. It was. I feel like I really came into that ready because I came straight from Crankworx. It was like I raced Crankworx. I came home for a week and I flew directly to Europe, and I was like ready to go for that race. And the track was so sick. Yeah. It was cool. I like that race.
Good confidence booster.
Yeah, exactly. It was really good. It was super good before going into all the races after that. But I feel like there was this weird thing where we raced that one, we went to Leger, we raced another one, and then we had like 3 weeks off before Worlds. And I think because I did the Crankworx for 3 weeks, like racing.
Bang.
Went to France, did that French Cup, did the next race. By the time we got to Worlds, it was like I had done 7-8 weeks straight of racing. And then I took 3 weeks off, and I think I let myself relax a little bit too much. And then I kind of lost the feeling of racing, and Worlds didn't go super well. The first race in Maribor didn't go super well.
But you qualified third at the Worlds.
I qualified third at Worlds. It was snowing and raining. It was like I was riding at home again. I was like, this is sweet. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing here. But then when it came to the actual racing, I don't know.
You washed out the front end?
I just made a bunch of stupid mistakes. I had a small crash, and then I rode into a mud pit, and then I made another big mistake. It was just like, I didn't have, It's so frustrating because it was like 2 seconds behind coming into the last section, and Reese rode that section unbelievably well, but I definitely could have ridden it, to a point where I potentially could have podiumed, and I really would have been stoked with that. But, I didn't focus enough coming into the section. It was like, I didn't have that, like that killer mentality, it was weird. It was one of those weird things where it's like, you're at a race, but you can't turn your brain on to be like, hey, it's go time. And even at the first race in Maribor, I had the same feelings. And then the second race in Maribor, I was like...
Because you were 8th in time training there and 12th in qualies.
Yeah, and then
And then you ended up 4th.
Well, the first race I was 30th because I hit a tree really hard. Doubleheader. And then the next one, I was like 5th in qualifying, and I was like, we're back on type of thing. And I sort of turn my brain back on, and then I finished fourth, but I was like 0.8 off the win. Like, it was so tight. I was fourth at 0.8, and I was like,
oh my God.
I made one stupid mistake, and I was like,
and
man,
how much distance do you think that is? That's not
it's
much.
like 5 meters, and
Yeah.
you know, it's even less, and you're like, if I didn't make this mistake in that corner, I could have my first World Cup win. And it was like, you know, it's one of those things. And I just wish that I had sort of turned that part of my brain on for Worlds and the first part of Maribor. I just felt like I came in a little bit too relaxed to those.
Yeah.
Took a bit of a kick in the ass and then figured it out.
Yeah. Oh, gee.
Last year was weird. It's so weird. It's hard to figure out this COVID stuff, you know?
And the mental game is more important than anything, pretty much, eh?
For sure.
Because like everyone's strong, everyone's fit, everyone knows how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
But it's like it's the 6-inch game.
Yeah.
The 6 inches between your ears.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the Worlds, and then Maribor.
Yeah.
You know, even though you qualified third at the Worlds, you made a bunch of mistakes. You then got a fourth, so you showed the speed was there.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time you were on the podium in a World Cup, or in a World Cup with Loic, was it?
Yeah, we shared the podium for the first time. That was really cool. It was like this weird thing. Is like in junior, I would win, and then I'd crash the next race, and he would win. And then it was like in elite, it was like I'd have a good result, but he would get like 10th. And then I would get 8th, and he'd get a podium. And then I'd get a podium, and he wasn't on the podium. And this was the first time we were like on the podium together, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I hope sooner or later, you know, we go 1-2, me 1, him 2, and it'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So then to finish off the season, you had it was Portugal, was it not?
Yeah.
Louisa?
Lusa? Yeah,
Lusa?
Lusa. Yeah.
And you qualified 5th.
Yeah, I loved that track. It was really fun.
It's a new track.
Yeah, super new track. Well, it was new to me. There's a lot of people that have been there and have gone there for testing. Any of the Fox guys have been there for testing. And you look at anybody's Instagram from last winter, you see half the field had been in Lusa testing. So it's like one of those things where you're like, is this cool that people are like riding here before we have a World Cup? Like those guys know the track before, you know, it's a bit of it's like a bit of a privilege for those guys, but like, you know, you can't complain. You show up when you show up, and
that's what they get for living in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they can have one in the Whistler Bike Park, and I'll go do 100 laps on it. No.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it'd be so funny. Hey, we're going to have a World Cup down Canadian Open in August. It's June. I'll do, 100 laps in the month, and I'll know it head to toe.
Totally. Every little pebble.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a World Cup in Cypress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mount Provo. What? Whistler Bike Park? What?
Yeah. Yeah,
You'd be all talking smack to everybody.
Yeah, definitely, I'm still a little bit salty about that. I mean, if I would have won or done better, it would be a different story. I'd be like, oh, like, whatever, it's not a big deal. It's hard not to be a little bit upset when you don't do well, and then you can just, like, kind of use that excuse. Those guys were here before me, type of thing. Yeah. But
that's the way you finished your year, too, right? So how does that make you feel, like, for training the off-season?
That first race in Lusa, I had a crash. It was one of those things where, like I said, I came into a corner too fast, blew it, swapped the front, and head planted. But I was like third coming into that section, so I was third at the first couple splits. Like I was riding really well. I have the speed, and then the second race, it rained at the top, and I'd sort of like gotten beaten up over the weekend. I had that crash. I had another crash, and I sort of took it a little bit easier. It did like the 85% thing. I think I finished like 20th. It wasn't great. I was not happy with it, but it was like I finished the season with a result. I was like 12th or 13th overall. So it's like my best overall finish, but like I know I can do so much better than that. So like coming into the training season, I was like, there's things that I'm going to work on and change this training season, and stuff that I've been working on throughout the training season that sort of will prepare me better for those longer weekends. So if we do have back-to-backs, I'm going to be fitter, I'm going to be stronger, I'm going to have better recovery. And I think that last year I came into that last race and I just didn't have it. I wasn't strong enough, or like didn't have the endurance for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been working on that.
Working on it a lot. Yeah. Doing a lot of training this winter. It's been cool.
And the hand strength from snowmobiling and dirt biking on top of all the mountain biking. Because I see you've been training hard and riding like throughout the winter.
Yeah, totally. But you got to mix in other stuff, or else
keep it fresh too.
Yeah, totally. I took a full month and a half off my downhill bike. So I like came home from Lusa, and like, in Canada we get the snow in December. So I like rode, snow fell, stopped riding, and then I took December and part of January off, and I just skied and snowmobiled the entire time. And then I went to the island for 6 weeks and stayed there and just rode my downhill bike and rode Prevost with Mark and Magnus. And yeah, it was sweet.
Yeah, it's nice to ride with guys who are super fast to work on lines and just to know where you got to be at. And
like, you push each other when you're riding with those guys because they're so fast, and it's like I need to keep up, or it's like they're behind you. It's like I need to go faster. It's like you want to be better than those guys.
Totally.
So the speed is just.
So the first race, because Scotland was canceled.
Maribor was postponed, so now the first race is Leogang again.
Oh.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Little redemption. There probably won't be snow this time of year.
Yeah, it'll be super warm, which will be nice. And Leogang's like one of the most beautiful places we go. The riding's good, and
the mountains.
It's
gorgeous.
So cool. I love it there. It's just about getting some redemption this year.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, well, I reached out to some people on Instagram for some questions. Let's do a few random questions from the people.
Sounds
good. Chico Lakowski. Ask him if he misses me. Do you know Chico Lakowski?
Yeah.
He's like a Brazilian model.
Yeah.
He's got 1.6 million followers.
Yeah, he loves biking. He was in Mont Saint Anne for World Championships a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah,
it was cool to meet that guy.
Yeah, I see pictures of him and his family, and he seems like a rad dude.
Yeah, absolutely. He's sick.
Ruffle Surf. Who are your mountain bike heroes and favorite riders?
I'd say Steve Pete, Steve Smith, Loic Bruni, top 3.
Okay.
I wrote a speech about Steve Pete in grade 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's one of my top 3 favorite riders too.
My mom went and gave it to him when I was in junior. It was a bit embarrassing for me, but it was like I won the speech competition for my group. Like I went to the finals, I'd say, but it was funny.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I've partied hard with Steve Pete over the years. And
guy can drink his beer.
Oh yeah, he can. We did practice to get there a little bit at Rampage, and then he qualified, and then he didn't come to finals the next day because he went and watched the motocross and got wasted and didn't even bother to show up for Rampage finals. I'm like, Petey, what are you doing, man? He was like, oh, mate, I had to give her. I don't know. I'm a racer. I don't know. Okay, Nar Art P. Kalane. Who has bigger traps? You or Eddie Masters?
Me, 100%. 100% me.
I believe you. Okay. How old were you when you first did your first lap in the Whistler Bike Park? Let me answer that. 10.
Younger.
Oh, because you came for trips here before you moved here when you were 10. So 8.
7 or 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's from Gabe AMTB. From Maddie Fitch. Ask him why a chicken coop only has 2 doors.
Why?
Because if it had 4, it would be a chicken sedan.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a good one. I like that one.
Good,
That's a sweet one. Yeah.
Totally. What are your opinions on high pivot bikes coming back?
I don't know enough about it to really weigh in.
Yeah.
Don't know. Haven't ridden one. Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
They look funky.
Yeah, they look crazy.
Neil McGuinness. What's your favorite mountain biking movie of all time?
That's a tough one. I really like The Tipping Point. It's a race movie from way back.
Is that Clay Porter?
Clay Porter.
Yeah.
I really like, I don't know if it's New World Disorder 6, the one with Carlin Dunn and Carlin Dunn, and it's Holy Divers, the song.
Yeah, Dio.
Yeah. I don't know which one that is. That's the one, like, Paul Bass is riding, like, the dirt jumps up at Whistler, like, with the dump truck and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. That's my favorite one. Okay. That's my favorite New World Disorder.
Okay.
I don't know what one it is, though. 8?
No, I think it's earlier.
Yeah, we watched it last year. I watch it every year. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we have the disc somewhere, too, but we don't have a player.
Rest in peace to Carlin Dunn, too.
Yeah.
Oliver Log. How did you get your first sponsorship? And who was your first sponsor?
My first sponsor, like my first real sponsor, I would say was Fox, which is cool because I'm riding for them again. I was 14, and it was like Fox and SRAM kind of at the same time. Like I got sponsored by Fox through Katrina Strand, and they sent me a bunch of kit, and I was like, no way, like this is the sickest thing ever. Fresh kit, first run, did this huge whip off a jump, stoved it, broke my helmet. The first run in this brand new kit, and I went to the Bike and Bean, and they gave me a new helmet. I was like, whoa, this is what it feels like to be sponsored, you know?
Nice.
And then SRAM, through Tyler Moreland, who's Canadian national champion at downhill. He was a big supporter of mine when I was a kid, and I hope he still is, if you're watching, Tyler. He sent me a bunch of stuff. Like, he sent me, like, the black fork before it came out, and I was like, no way. My dad's like, yeah, like, he sent you a couple t-shirts and a shock, and I got home, and there's, like, a fork and 3 different shocks. I was like, this is the best day of my life. And, yeah, that was cool.
That is super cool. What, from Logan MTB, or no, Loga MTB, what is the most underrated bike park in BC?
Ooh, there's a lot.
Everybody
goes to Whistler. Everybody goes to Whistler. Coast Gravity Park is sick. Sun Peaks is sick. Fernie is sick. Kicking Horse is sick. Panorama's sick. You can't be like, Silver Star's good. I've heard Big White's good. I haven't been there. Like, I'd say Sun Peaks, Coast Gravity Park, and Fernie. I haven't been out to Fernie in a while, but I remember Fernie being insane.
Yeah.
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 There's
steep. Some nice dirt too.
Yeah. There's so many good ones, and everybody just goes to Whistler, and it's like, Whistler's amazing.
Whistler, yeah.
But there's so many different places
Sun
you could go
Peaks has 2,000 vertical feet, and most of it's gnar.
Yeah, it is wild.
Like, chunky and steep and natural. They got some flow trails now too.
Definitely.
They put in $400,000 to build flow trails.
There's some sick jumps there too. I would say if I wasn't going to Whistler, I'd go to Sun Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Owen M. Robertson. Do you have any tips for someone who's just starting to race?
I would say don't be an idiot and just ride your bike.
Yeah, Stevie Smith.
No, I don't know. I just focus on having fun and just sort of, it's like any other ride. You just go out and focus on riding your bike, because at the end of the day, racing isn't anything different than just going out and riding your bike as fast as you can.
Yeah.
So focusing on that.
Okay.
I feel like people who are getting into racing kind of focus on the wrong thing. They're like, oh no, it's a race, I'm scared. It's just focus on riding your bike. That's all you got to do.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Schmidt 11. Ask Finn if he likes menudo, Mexican soup.
I've never had it.
Never had it.
Not that I know of.
Have you eaten guinea pig?
I have. I like guinea pig. Actually, I was a fan of that. I like all Mexican food, so I'm sure I'd like that.
Yeah. Coach Wade Garrett. Finn posted a Cork 720 skiing earlier this year on his Instagram. So sick. I would like to know if he was ever considered bringing that trick or other tricks like that to the dirt ever.
Absolutely not. There's no way. I think on skis it's exactly like bouncing on a trampoline. You go up, you cork, you land. And on a bike it's like you have this whole other thing, and I don't know if I'd be able to figure it out.
And it's dirt.
Yeah,
if
it's
you don't
dirt.
make it.
Yeah, and on like snow, it's like it's snow. What are you gonna? It's snow.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt so bad.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Will he do adjust the lip with you? You know just the lip?
Yes, I do.
Okay, where's the cameras? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, he will. That's from Tim Style 2. Fernie Biker. What is in the royal blood of Magura brakes? We both ride for Magura brakes, by the way, and we have like the fluorescent yellow MT7s, which are awesome.
Yeah, I love those brakes.
They're awesome. What's in the royal blood that makes it so special?
I have no idea.
Scientifically, I don't know.
Scientifically, I couldn't tell you. I just know that they're really good, and I love those brakes.
What levers do you like on the Maguras?
I got these ones that they gave us these plastic things, and they said, like, file it down, and we'll make it on a 3D printer. So we made my lever, and we filed it down, and we sent it to them, and now I have my custom fin levers.
Nice.
Yeah, they're cool.
I got my name on my brakes.
Sick.
Yeah, a little Canadian flag and tippy.
That's sick.
Feels so cool.
Yeah.
Although anyone can get custom made stuff for them.
Can you?
Yeah, you can. You slip them into this little slot.
No way.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they're good brakes. They're sick.
Yeah, I think they're the best. I used them back in the day, in the 90s, because I was, on cantilever brakes.
Yeah.
And then before your time. And then You might have caught V-brakes, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe I had coaster brakes with my first bike, and then I got definitely a cantilever. The ones that are like
over C's?
Yeah,
totally. Okay, so you've been around too. But then I got these Magura rim crushers.
Sick.
The
That's
fluorescent
a dope
yellow.
name. Yeah.
Well, that's what we called them. Because they would literally crush your rim. They're so powerful. All the trials guys used them
Whoa.
back then. And then, the downhillers, like John Tomac had them. And I remember like Wade and Johnny Smoke had them. And I was like, I need those.
Sick.
And I got them. And I was like, oh, they're so awesome. I can brake, actually.
Yeah. I have them on my dirt bike, too.
The Maguras?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, I gotta get those on my dirt bike.
Good stuff.
Mr. OGD Life. What training and steps has Finn taking to up his consistency? Is it difficult to progress at an appropriate pace when you're training and riding with Bruni all the time? It's got to be tempting to want more than incremental steps. Whoa. I love Finn's bike handling, and I'm pulling for him to keep moving forward. Whoa. So what are you doing to up your consistency?
That's a loaded question.
There's a lot of questions
that's a
in there.
really good
Dude,
question.
that's like 4 questions, but we'll give it to you anyways.
I've been doing a lot of mental training. I have a mental coach that I've been working with for the last 2 years. I'm not going to really go into details, but I'm definitely feeling like I'm taking small steps towards getting to a place where I feel really good about my mental state for racing. And then with my training, I'm doing a lot more cardio stuff so that I'm able to, like I said, stay fitter throughout the weekend and stay fresher and stronger when it comes to race day. Riding a lot more of my downhill bike. My stuff in the gym is a little bit more balance focused, as well as being just like more mobile and powerful in certain movements, which has been really cool. And I've sort of really enjoyed this new training that I'm doing. And then with Bruni, it's really easy to look at what Bruni's doing and being like, he's on my bike. We're on the same bike. I know how fast I am. I know that I can beat this guy. Why don't I just beat this guy? And there's so much more to it than that. And I think last year was the first year that I realized that I need to sort of, like I said, focus on myself and sort of figure out my own routine and my own program to allow me to get to the top step and not just look at what Bruni's doing and chasing Bruni. I need to sort of be who I'm going to be and become my own rider.
Okay.
And I think this year, next year, year after, you're going to see a lot more consistency out of me and definitely some wins here and there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to happen.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Loic wants to know, before you can beat him on the mountain bike, can you beat him at FIFA?
Fuck.
What's
I should have known this question was coming.
The video game?
FIFA, the video game. We have
Soccer?
We have a PlayStation that travels with us everywhere, and I don't play FIFA. I play Call of Duty, and I play 2K, and I play NHL. I play 3 games.
This is a sore spot with you.
It is super sore spot. But all the Europeans think football is the sickest sport, and they're like, oh, like it's the best video game. And I don't play FIFA, so I come over to Europe, and these guys have been playing FIFA, and like our social media guy for the team, Renault, is really good, and Loic is quite good. And like I'll beat Loic like every 1 in 5 games, and it's so infuriating because it's like, I think I need to download FIFA and start playing it at home. So when I go to Europe, I'm ready to play these guys. Cause I'll like come back. And it's like, I haven't played FIFA in 8 months and I'll get smoked. And I'm like, God, I threw the controller last year on the ground. I was like, this stupid game. Cause it's not the same as basketball and it's not the same as hockey, you know? That is a sore spot. Loic, I'm coming for you.
That's
this
so
year.
funny.
Yeah.
I remember, your competitiveness just killed me. When I was at Crankworx New Zealand and I came and interviewed you and Loic for Just the Tip, and I showed you guys that party trick where you put a bill on the ground and then you have to bend over, balancing on one leg and pick it up with your mouth.
Yeah. And
he did it right away.
Yeah.
And you could almost get it, but you couldn't quite get it.
Yeah.
And I eventually got it, but I went home that night and I was just like surfing Instagram, and I looked on Sam Blankensop's feed, and he had taken some photo, a selfie, and in the background in the kitchen I could see you at 11 at night or 10:30 at night practicing bending over to pick up the bill. And I'm like, oh my God, he's so competitive.
It's one of those things. It's like if somebody's better than me at something, I'm gonna work to be better than that person. It's like you play. I don't know. in sports, any sport, it's like hockey. It's like I played hockey when I was a kid, and I'll play somebody that played hockey when they was a kid. It's like there's no reason I shouldn't be better than this guy at hockey. And then it's like we'll play, and I start getting like really into it, and I'll like start giving it like 100% at like just on like the lake, and it's just, I can't even control it. It's just like, and then we'll lose, and I fucking hate this game.
Oh, to be an athlete. Oh,
I think it's good though.
That's what fuels the fire, right?
It's the drive, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I get it. All right, we're almost ready to wrap up. Did you bring a joke for us?
Yeah.
That joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tippy, I'm a little bit worried of the Tippy, I'm a little bit worried about the calendar.
Why are you worried about the calendar?
Because its days are numbered.
Not bad. All those interested in time travel, meet here last week at 7:30. Okay, I brought you one. This guy's going through the checkout at the Safeway at the store, and he's checking some milk, some eggs, some bread through, and the lady, is ringing it in, and she looks at him. She goes, "Oh wow, you must be single," and he goes, "Yeah, I am single, but how can you tell from milk, eggs, and bread?" She goes, "Oh, it's because you're ugly."
Oh my God. That's brutal.
Totally. That's superficial, but just on the outside. Well, thanks.
That's a good one. That's superficial, just on the outside.
Just on the outside. Oh, funny. Well, that was fun. Thanks for letting us into your brain and
thanks for
sharing your story with us. And I just can't wait to see you light it up and take some wins.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
I think it's going to be on the calendar, and those other racers, their days are numbered. Thanks, Finn, and good luck to you, brother.
Tiffany. Yeah, thank you.
Right on. This has been Finn Iles, Canadian cycling downhiller, and this is the Brett Tippy Podcast. Thanks for checking it out, everybody. Ow!